The latest MCU film, Black Panther, has two awesome post-credit scenes. They both have big ramifications for the MCU as large, as well as for the Avengers and their looming battle with Thanos. This is going to lead into Infinity War and have something to do with what will happen in that film. I want to break it down, answer some of your questions. Let's talk about it. What is up, YouTube? It's Josh. This is the Den of Nerds. If you love comic book movies the way I do, subscribe to this channel. We're going to be dropping all sorts of content surrounding those types of films. Quickly, I want to shout out Ashley McKenzie, who got the nerd card question correct in our latest Star Wars video about how EA may lose their license. That's kind of a crazy story. Go check it out. But Ashley, you definitely know your stuff when it comes to Star Wars games, so shout out to you. There will be another nerd card question at the end of this video. All right, guys, so Black Panther was awesome, and it had two post-credit scenes that, while short, actually have a large implication for the MCU and for Infinity War. So I want to talk about both scenes and sort of break them down for you guys. So the first scene is with King T'Challa addressing the United Nations, talking about how Wakanda will no longer live in the shadows and they will come to basically share their tech with the rest of the world. It's a pretty cool scene. Somebody in the UN is like, okay, King T'Challa, but with all due respect, like, what could you do to possibly help the world? And he sort of gives that smile, and then you see Everett Ross, and it's really cool because they all know at this point how much of an impact Wakanda's technology could make on the rest of the world. This scene really reminded me a lot of the scene at the end of Iron Man 1, where Tony Stark has that press conference and literally tells the world that he is Iron Man. This was really, really cool and obviously had a big impact for the MCU, and that is exactly what this post-credit scene does. It's the same thing. So you have a huge change for the MCU, and this is very different from comics. Up until now, there has not been a scenario in which Wakanda was willing to share its technology and help out the rest of the people in the world. So I don't know, it's pretty cool, it's pretty crazy, but it means a couple of different things. First of all, Earth will have much better defenses once this gets integrated. I immediately thought of space travel. I was like, this could be pretty interesting. Give more of a technological advancement when it comes to traveling around in space. This could lead to the formation of SWORD. It could have something to do with what we do past phase 3, phase 4 with what we're doing in space, and I could see Wakanda basically being a big part of that. I think that the world will also have much better scanning capacities. They'll be able to find threats more easy. They will literally be able to communicate at a much better level, all because of the technology from Wakanda. Of course, the weapons and fortifications of the militaries of the world would be benefited from this technology. They'd have much better armor. I mean, if they have vibranium weapons or vibranium armor, that would be absolutely insane. Now, similar to the way that the world could benefit from this stuff, the Avengers will benefit the exact same way. Now, we already saw that image of Tony Stark's new suit sort of coming from his glasses, and as a big nerd and a fan of Marvel, I was very interested to see what could happen if Shuri, who is a genius, probably even smarter than Stark, what would happen if that character literally sat down with Stark and they started just messing around in R&D. I think you could get some incredible advancements in technology, and I am betting you that this bleeding edge type armor that Tony will rock in Infinity War is going to come out of the fact that Wakanda's sharing its tech. That's going to be why Shuri and Iron Man are going to be able to have conversations, and Stark's a hell of a builder too, so he might put his own little tweaks on stuff. And there was also some rumors out there that were sort of touched on in some press meetings where people were talking about Shuri helping Spider-Man and the Iron Spider suit could be very similar. It could formulate out of his original costume, which could be really, really cool. I mean, that is an obvious benefit, and similar to the way that the world would be benefited, you could get better technology, you get better scanning, you get better communication. It would be very, very good. Now, my questions here become, how much is Wakanda actually going to share their stuff? Because they don't want to just give all these weapons to these warmongering countries, to these countries that have a history of being oppressive. So I imagine they will hold a lot of stuff close to the vest, but at the end of the day, simply knowing that they have the level of technology that they have, and possibly sharing some vibranium, probably not a lot, but some, that could be really, really cool. But I still think they're going to hold back. It's also going to be interesting to note how much time will take place between this post-credit scene and the start of Infinity War. Because my immediate thought was, wow, this will really help Earth be better fortified for when Thanos comes down and tries to invade. But what if Thanos' invasion happens almost right after this UN meeting? Then there wouldn't be enough time for them to spread this technology around the planet. It wouldn't be enough time for them to fortify the total defenses of the world, and it wouldn't be enough time to fix any of the major problems that are dividing us as a planet. So it will be interesting to see how much time has taken place, but that's a breakdown of the first scene and how I think it will impact the MCU and Infinity War. The second scene is much shorter and arguably has much less of an impact, but it was pretty dope. It is all about Bucky Barnes being in Wakanda. It would seem as though Shuri has been able to cure his mind. Now, she Easter egg drops this earlier in the film when she's talking about Everett Ross and says, another broken white boy for us to fix. She's, of course, referring to the Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes. Now, because Bucky literally calls himself Bucky to her, that was sort of a note to me to sort of mean that his mind has been fixed. In some capacity, his mind is better. He's not just a psycho killer machine that when you say a few words, he's going to lose complete control, which is obviously a very good thing. By the way, am I the only one that sensed a bit of sexual tension between Shuri and Bucky? I mean, I'll ship it. That seems like a good couple. Now, of course, we know that Bucky is going to get a new arm, and it's very likely that that will be a gift from Shuri as well. Probably going to be vibranium, very, very fancy, and help him in the battles that we have in Infinity War. We've already seen that he and Cap are going to fight in Wakanda alongside the Wakandans against the coming threat. But it was really cool to see Bucky get put back together mentally, and now we just have to see him get put back together physically. There was also the kids calling him the White Wolf, which is an actual character from the comics. It's possible Bucky will basically adopt that moniker and no longer go as the Winter Soldier. That would be very interesting. I don't know. I mean, there's probably a lot of bad PR associated with the name Winter Soldier now, so that might be a good move for him. Now, look, Thanos is coming to town in Avengers 4, and he is looking to do some serious damage. I think the post-credit scenes of Black Panther do a good job of setting up a scenario in which we have a better fighting chance against Thanos, but it didn't directly give anything away, which is also good because I want to be surprised and blown away from Infinity War. It depends on how much time has passed between these credit scenes and the start of that movie, but I think they will at least serve as conversation points in Infinity War. Tony Stark will probably be talking about the Wakanda revelation. They will probably be talking about Bucky. There's going to be some stuff that is mentioned in Infinity War that took place in these credit scenes. So wanted to go over them. That's the video. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. All right, let's check that nerd card really quickly. I want to know, what is the name of the young African-American girl that actually took over as Iron Man after the events of Civil War II in Marvel Comics? She's a pretty cool character. I'll be honest, I'm not super sold on her, but I would actually not mind if Shuri took the place of that character in the future of the MCU to be the new Iron Man or Iron Woman. But the question remains, what is the name of the current Iron Man, the person that took over for Tony Stark? Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.